Hello, this is Matthew Armstrong. Welcome to stage 3 of the awakening process. And in stage 3 is the detoxification stage, where we detoxify our body, our mind, get the chemicals out of our system, and then put the nutrition into our system. And one thing I want to speak about in particular that's very, very important, especially for real awakening, spiritual awakening, and conscious evolution, is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is basically in the center of our brain, around here, and it's actually that's what our third eye is. Our third eye, and our third eye, when activated, allows us to see and experience more than the 5 senses. And it lets us experience astral planes, other dimensions, angelic realms, things like that. And the problem is that it is calcified and it is covered over. And what does that is there's 3 main toxins that do that. And the first one is fluoride. And fluoride really calcifies and just degenerates the pineal gland. And fluoride is found in our water supplies. Depending on what country you live in, you may or may not have fluoride pumped into your water system, which is just so detrimental for your health. It not only calcifies your pineal gland, but it also dumbs you down. It also dumbs us down. So it makes us more like sheep and easily controlled. Something that the Nazis used in World War II is they put a lot of fluoride into the people in the concentration camps, into their water. And so it made them more dumbed down, easier to control, less likely to to fight or uprise or try and escape. So that's what they used then, and funnily enough, it's still used today in many countries for similar sorts of reasons. So in the water supply, also in toothpaste, in the flosses, they have fluoride in them, and it's also cumulative in the body. Is that it accumulates over time, but it can be detoxified. It can be detoxified, but the first thing is to basically stop ingesting it. Whether it's toothpaste, change your toothpaste to a non-fluoride one, or whether it's in your water supply, get a filter attached that filters out fluoride out of your water. Another thing is, if you can get a whole house filter in, so it's filtering the water in your whole house, that is even better again, because even when we're showering, we're taking in whatever's in that water as well. So because our pores open, our skin's a semi-permeable membrane, so it takes in all sorts of toxins, chemicals and things into the skin, into the organs, into the brain, into the pineal gland. So just by stopping doing that, it's going to stop the calcification. The second thing is chlorine, and chlorine again is in our tap water. If you drink tap water, it's one of the worst things that you can do. You need to be drinking spring water, or find out if you have good well water. But the best thing is spring water. If you can find a good spring, even if you have to drive 20 miles to find it, that's going to be a journey well spent once a week or once a fortnight. So chlorine, especially with getting a filter in, you've got to filter out the chlorine. Swimming in chlorinated pools, again, we're taking it into the skin. So we want to get the chlorine out because that also calcifies the pineal gland, and again causes all other manner of problems in the body, for the arteries, hardens the arteries, etc. So just by doing that, you're going to get the chlorine and the fluoride out of your system. Very, very easy things to do, things you can do today. You can order your filters today, go and find that spring today, whatever it is, you can do that right today and make that happen and stop that from continuing. The third thing, and I know this is a big one, the third thing, and it is the most poisonous one, and it is mercury. And mercury is in our teeth. It's the most poisonous substance, naturally occurring substance on the planet is mercury, and they put it in little kids' mouths. That is absolutely crazy if you ask me. And what that does, it calcifies the pineal gland. It also can cause mental disorders. It really dumbs down the consciousness, mercury does. So we want to get that out of our system. There's also mercury in vaccines. Why do they put mercury in vaccines? There's mercury in vaccines, so if you get a lot of vaccinations and things like that, or you've had them, you've got a lot of mercury in your system. If you've had fillings, mercury amalgam fillings in. You know, they don't call them mercury fillings, they call them amalgam fillings, but they're mercury. Most of it's mercury, including other metals as well, which are also poisonous for your system. So I know this is a big one. It's a big one for me. I got my mercury out 6 years ago, over 6 years ago, and it was a big step. I'd planned to do it by 8 years ago, but it's, you know, it's a financial contribution, and then it's the discomfort, the pain of getting it done. But it's an important step to take. It's an important step to take in the awakening process, is to get all the toxins out of the system, and that includes the mercury that's in the mouth. When you get the mercury out, also some of it goes into the system, which causes more toxicity at the time. So it's important to do a detox process with herbs and vegetables and things like that to basically get as much toxins out of the system before the mercury comes out. And then after the mercury is taken out, is to continue detoxifying for another few months to really get that out of the system, because you do get a small amount of mercury poisoning from getting them out. But over time, it is well worth it. I've treated people clients who have had mercury poisoning from the fillings, and it is so debilitating to life in every single way. But it is possible to detoxify it. We did detoxify him and got his levels down from 900 times the toxic level all the way down to a safe limit. So it is possible to do that. So those are the three big toxins: the mercury, the fluoride, the chlorine. The chlorine and the fluoride, you can get that out today. You can start getting that out today. The mercury, you just need to make an appointment with a homeopathic dentist or dentist who understands, who hasn't been programmed and has fallen into the trap of believing every single thing that they've been taught. And there is a bigger agenda. There is a bigger agenda. You kind of think, why is this happening? Why are they putting these poisonous substances in our mouths? Why are they putting these poisonous substances in our drinking water? Why are they putting it in our toothpaste? You know, so we're taking it in from when we're babies. Why are they doing that? And it's quite easy to think, well, you know, they obviously have our best interests at heart, so these things can't possibly be poisonous. Let me assure you they are, but please don't take my word for it. Go and do some in-depth research and you'll see for yourself the truth. And there is a bigger agenda. They do want to dumb us down, they do want to keep us controlled, they do want to keep our pineal gland closed, and that is another big story for a future video that I will do. But for now, those are the three main toxins to get out of your system that is going to help in the awakening process. For detoxification of the rest of the body, because when you get the mercury out, you're going to need a big detox. And so for a few other things is basically our diet. We really need to change our diet. We need to get the meat out, the dairy out, and the cigarettes, the alcohol, all that sort of stuff. Any chemicals, anything processed, sugar, completely get that out of the system and replace it with fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, preferably organic. Preferably organic. You know, that's what's going to do the trick. Taking them in raw, if possible. If you can take them in raw live food, take in raw live food, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. And with the nuts and seeds, to activate them, you need to soak them overnight for most nuts and seeds. Soak them, and that activates the enzymes and brings them back to life, so then they become alive again. So it's taking in living foods rather than dead foods. And so if you're taking in your meat, dairy, things like that, those are dead foods. Processed foods are dead foods. Even, you know, cooking foods, you're killing off most of the food. So taking in raw live foods, that's going to have a massive detoxification effect, cleansing effect, sending nutrients into all the cells in the body, cleansing the blood, giving the digestive system a rest, getting the enzymes in that are much needed, and just really cleansing and purifying the body, and cleansing that pineal gland, which are our third eye, which will then allow us to see more than what meets the eye for, you know, most of us in the world, because there's a lot more out there, and it's available to all of us. We all have this potential. We all have this potential, but there is work to be done. We have to do the work. So with the meat, for example, I know, like, taking out meat and dairy is a big one for a lot of people. But it's so crucial to understand that when we're taking in meat and dairy, we're taking in fear. We're taking in fear from the animals, eggs as well. We're taking in the fear from those animals. Those animals live a very fearful life, and they go through a very fearful death. And so then that fear is just sent throughout their whole bodies, and then we eat that fear, and then we have fearful feelings. It lowers our own vibration. So rather than taking in that second hand, because basically the animals, they're eating grass and things, and we should be eating grasses. We should be eating wheatgrass, barley grass, other grasses, vegetables that have light going into them from the sun. When the light goes in from the sun, then we eat those vegetables. We're then taking in that light into our bodies. The animals, they're clever enough to eat the grass, but we're not clever enough to eat the grass. We eat the animals instead. But we're just taking in darkness. We're taking in dense energy, dense matter, very low vibrational foods. Somebody wanted me to mention, somebody asked me a question in one of my other videos. They said, what do you mean by higher vibrational foods? And really, foods have a frequency. Foods have a frequency. So if you look at something like a cucumber, that has a frequency of 80. If you look at let's say a Big Mac at McDonald's, it has a frequency of 3. A tumour has a frequency of about 30. So if you're eating foods that have a frequency that's lower than 30, then chances are you're going to start getting tumours. If you're eating foods that have a frequency higher than that, then they're not going to live in your body. So it's taking in high frequency foods. Like our brain has a frequency of 90, say our liver has a frequency of 65, things like that. There's a frequency to everything, basically, a vibrational frequency. So that's what I mean when I talk about high vibrational foods and low vibrational foods. Processed foods, they're low vibrational. Fast foods, they're very low vibrational. You take in organic vegetables, herbs, things like that, they're higher vibrational. So I hope that makes sense. You just need to do some more research to get a deeper understanding of that as well. That's something that Dr. Robert Young, he works a lot on that. So if you look into his work, and you can see what he's used photography to actually see the vibration in different foods. So you can have a look at that there. So basically taking in high vibrational foods rather than low vibrational foods, and that is a diet of fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. That's going to detoxify, that's going to bring the light in, that's going to cleanse the pineal gland. And another activity is looking at the sun. Looking at the sun just before it sets and just after it rises. So looking at it, there's lightning going at the minute, it's great, a lot of energy around. Looking at the sun just for a few minutes each morning, a few minutes each evening, just after it rises and just before it sets. No more than an hour after it rises, no more than an hour before it sets. So you can do a thing where you can just put your fist out and you can look at the horizon, and if it's, listen to that thunder, you can put your fist out and you can, if the sun is higher than your knuckle from the horizon, then you don't want to look at it. When it's a bit lower than that, then you can look directly at it for a few minutes, and that will help to activate your pineal gland, and it will cleanse it. And you also get knowledge from the sun, and that's another one for a future video, taking in knowledge from the elements around us. Okay, so those are the 3 main poisons to take out: is the mercury, the fluoride, the chlorine, and then obviously taking out all those dense, fearful foods like the meat, the dairy, the eggs, and the processed foods, the sugars, things like that, anything processed, and taking in the raw organic foods. That's simply it. My name is Matthew Armstrong. Make sure you tune in for stage 4, which is going to be interesting, and also make sure if you haven't already done so, subscribe, leave a comment and share this video. Okay, take care.